Well, hello and welcome to the channel. My name's Dave and today I'm going to be unboxing my new Mac. So the reason why I've got this new Mac is my workhorse of it's a mid 2012 i7 iMac, which was fully loaded at the time. It's been out of date now for I don't know how many years, and I've been limping it along. And as you probably know, maybe you don't, I also do music production and video editing in this room using that Mac, and I've got it connected to all my music gear here. Unfortunately, I'm not able to update this i7 iMac anymore, and even if I did, my music gear wouldn't be compatible with it because it's 10-11 years old. So reluctantly, I've got to the point now where I've just got no choice. I've got some projects to do and I just can't get them done. My i7 iMac doesn't even encode 4K video, so I can't do any 4K on it. And I've been doing 2.7K now for a fair few years. About time I got it all replaced, and today I started looking at what to replace it with. And what I came up with was I was looking at the M1 Max last year, sort of towards the end of last year, but I thought I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to hang on. I'm just going to hang on. And of course, the M2 Mac Studios have now come out. So I ordered the base model M2 Studio and also the Apple monitor. So the Mac Studio is here. It came this morning, but unfortunately the monitor won't be here till next week. I think they've got a shortage of them, so I've got to wait for it. So what I'll do is I'll just carry on editing, and then next week when I get the monitor, I'll edit that in here and unbox it with you. But for now, let's have a look at the Mac Studio that I bought and get an unboxing done. I don't think there's going to be much in this box, so that's why I thought I'd double it up with a monitor and then get it all working. All right, so let's have a look at this. So this is my Mac Studio. It did come in a big, thick cardboard outer box, but I've already taken that off just so I can throw it in the shed and get it out of the way. Big chunky box, so that's very good. I ordered this from Curry's and it came the next day. That's the back of the box. You get an Apple logo, another Apple logo, bit of gump from the bottom, and what it is on the top. It's got a nice little carry handle as well. So this is the 32 gigabyte, I think it's got 32 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes internal SSD hard drive. It's got the M2 chip in, obviously, and coming from a 10-year-old, well, 11-year-old machine now, this should absolutely fly. So I'm not going to be gaming or anything on this. It's literally just for creative art. So I'll be doing music, audio production, mixing, mastering, but I'll also be doing some 4K video editing, film editing, all that kind of stuff, and blend the two together. This should be absolutely perfect for that. Right, let's get it open. It's got a nice little tab here. I assume you just pull it. And then, no idea what I'm doing here. Even the boxes are... Oh, here we go. There you go. So once you pull the little tab off, the box opens like that. Whether you can see that there, this is really awkward. But yeah, it just pops open like that. How smooth is that? Right, what you get in this thing then? So up here, I'm presuming you get all the gump. Yeah. And then in here, okay, there's little arrows telling me which way to push this. I bet you can't see this, you know. Just put it over here. And you put it that way. And then we lift it out. It's quite heavy actually, you know. Well, there you go. It's got a dust cover on it, so it does look a bit strange at the minute. Let's see what else in the box. I'm guessing not much. So the only other thing in this box is the power cord, and that's it. So you get the power cord and you get the bass unit, a dust cover, and some gumph. So I don't think there's any other cables, no HDMI cables, no Thunderbolt cables. You don't even get a keyboard and mouse. You literally just get the box and a plug on it. So yeah, I've got to wait for the monitors to arrive before I can connect that up. But let's take the dust cover off it anyway. Oh. Look at that beauty. There you go. It's got a card reader on the front, which is going to come in very handy when I'm doing my video editing from the cameras. Looks like it's got 2 Thunderbolt ports in the front. And then there's all the connectivity in the back. And then underneath, it's just got like a little bulge out, which I presume is just the stand it just sits on. So other things that I've got to get, because clearly this isn't enough to get going with, I need a monitor. So I've ordered the monitor. That's coming next week. So I'll slot that in here and unbox that as well in the same video. But because my audio interfaces are so old now, they're not going to be compatible at all with M2. So unfortunately, I've got to get rid of all my audio interfaces and a lot of my music gear, and also a lot of the plugins that I used to use on Pro Tools. I don't think they're going to work on the M2, so I might have to rebuy them or do some jiggery pokery. I don't know how it's going to work. But also, I haven't got Pro Tools anymore, so Pro Tools 12 is on my iMac. Obviously that's so old now. I need to upgrade that to the latest version of Pro Tools, and I think you have to pay monthly for that, or maybe you can do a one-off payment every year. I'll have to have a look. But either way, it's going to cost me a lot of money to get all this set back up. I'm not sure if I've got to buy Final Cut Pro again. I'll try and add this to my Apple account and see if it'll download it. But it's so old, you know. I've got the version I've got, I think it's 10 or something like that. It's really old. I'm going to get the monitor, unbox that, plug this in, and then we'll have a whistle-stop tour of it. Well, hello and welcome back. So 4 days later, and I finally get my Apple Studio monitor. Oh, I assume that's what it is. It looks big enough. So it's obviously I got the Mac Studio straight away. But the monitor took an extra 4 days to get here. Actually, I had to go and pick it up, which was a pain in the butt. But it's Friday night, and I want to unbox this with you. But I just want to show you around and show you what I've been doing since getting my Mac Studio. My room is now a total tip. So it's been pretty much destroyed. Everything's everywhere. So I've got a lot to do here. But let me just tell you what I've been doing since I got my Mac Studio. So I had to ferry it through the loft, and I found an old monitor that I plugged in using the HDMI lead. It worked absolutely fine, actually. And I did that. So I thought, I don't want to waste the 4 days. So I've been transferring all my files across to the new Mac Studio. But user experience, it's hilarious. So if like me, you're thinking of upgrading your stuff, and you've got old stuff, you know, older stuff like I had. I mean, I've got tons of USB backup drives, RAID drives, all that kind of stuff. I've got my Native Instruments keyboards and my controller as well there. So if you're in the same boat as me and you're thinking of upgrading to all this new stuff, then stick around, because I'll give you my experience of going from my old kit to this new kit. All right, it's quite hilarious. I actually found it quite hilarious. You could get really upset and sad about this stuff, but I tried to keep upbeat about it and just hit the hurdles and jump over them as they came along. And there were a few, I can tell you that now. So let's unbox this screen, and then we'll have a talk about actually what else I've had to buy to get this stuff working, and what my user experience so far is with the new 2023 Mac Studio. All right, let's get this thing out of the box. Right then, let's get it on. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I know I'm going to need my glasses probably. But it's huge, so I'm going to have to just set you down here like that, and hopefully you can see the box. Big chunky box, look. And it's got a strip. So there's a strip across the top which just pulls it off. Oh, that was satisfying. It's got a handle. And there you go, the Apple Studio display box. And there's another strip pull-off thing at the back. God, their boxes are mad, aren't they? I'm gonna have to pick you up. That's what you get in the box. Look, you get the arrows that tell you which way to pull everything apart. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do this on the floor. Bear with me, caller. All right, let's give this a go. Pull out, pull out. Bottom comes out, and I'm assuming I just pick the whole lot up and put it on my desk. Well, at least the stand's on it already, so I haven't got to mess with that. But what else we got in the box? The little box there looks like the power cable. Nice. Ready? Oh, let's do it. Oh, it's so satisfying doing that. So on the back of the stand, let's pick you up again. Sorry about this, not very professional, is it? But this is real world, yo. So on the back of the stand, there's another box. I think that might be the power, and the little box that was inside the big box might be a lightning connector or USB-C connector. I don't know. Well, let's give this a go. So I assume I've got to undo that. Okay, there's the plug. And it's actually fixed to the back of the Mac. It doesn't come out. So the stand I've got is just the tilt one. The height should be fine. I've had an iMac for ages which just has a tilt function on it, and that was fine, so I'm assuming this will be the same. But yeah, the power cord is actually fixed in there, so if anything goes wrong with this, then it's got to go back by the looks of it. Can't just replace the cord. Okay, let's get it in position. So the only thought I've got is that going to go in that gap? Let's find out, shall we? Let's have a look what's in the little box that came with it. Man, you can't get a more complicated boxing system, can you? I don't think it's possible. No idea how to open that cleanly. There you go. So yeah, you get a lightning connector. It's very kind of them to provide a cable, isn't it? Yep, you get a lightning connector. Not very long, probably a meter. but the idea is that you have the studio underneath the monitor anyway. And then in the same box you get the usual one-page document, a few stickers, and that's it really. So let's get this connected up to the studio, and then I'll take you through what I've had to go through so far, which is quite hilarious. All right, it's been a long road, put it that way, but let's get this switched on. Right then, so you, my friend, are mounted. Let's turn this on for the first time, see what happens. Well, we are in. Strangely, with this monitor, there's no power button. It just goes on and off with the computer, which is pretty good, eh? So there you go. That's my Mac Studio and my Mac Studio screen or monitor. So just wanted to go through with you the experience I've had so far with this new technology. So my stuff's over 10 years old, as you know. Now, transferring from stuff as old as that in the computer world is a little bit difficult, let's just say. So what I mean by that is that all of my backups, all files, everything for all time that I've ever done are all stored on regular USB external hard drives, you know, 7,600 RPM, wherever they are. And my serious backups and my video editing files and all my content are usually stored on a G-RAID drive, which I bought years and years ago. So I've got, I think there's 8 terabytes on my G-RAID drive, full of stuff that I'm working on right now. So that's audio production, mixing, mastering, writing music, editing videos. So all the content for all of that I'm currently working on, I always do that off my G-RAID drive. So the first issue I had, apart from obviously I didn't have a monitor, was I went up in the loft, got an old 1080i monitor, I think it was, plugged that in the studio just to get it going. And the first problem that I was faced with is that I couldn't, the keyboard and mouse that I had on my old iMac, the Bluetooth ones, these, when I turned the studio on the Mac Studio and pressed the pair button on the keyboard and the mouse, I just sat there and nothing happened for ages and ages and ages. They never connected. So hilariously, I had to run up the loft and try and find a mouse with a wire on it. And so I was rummaging around in the loft for ages, and I found this. I thought this was quite funny. So I found a Belkin mouse with a USB wire on it that I must have used, what, 25 years ago, something as ridiculous as that. And it's one of them things where you upgrade, and I threw it up the loft thinking, oh, I might need that one day. It's a bloody good job I did, because they don't provide you with a keyboard and mouse to use the system with, or a monitor obviously. So the only way to get my Bluetooth keyboard and mouse working was to plug this in. There's 2 USB ports on the back of the machine. Plug this in, go into the settings and actually tell the system to connect to those 2 devices. So without that, I've no idea how you would get that working. Not sure if anyone else has come across that problem, but I thought that was hilarious, using 25-year-old technology to get the very latest technology working. So that was the first thing. No input devices. I couldn't do anything unless I went up and plugged one of those in. I plugged a keyboard in as well. So I'm just trying to keep this real for you. Don't get me wrong, I'm really excited to be using this, and I cannot wait to get it all set up and iron out all the problems that I've currently got and actually start using it. But I think it's only fair that I tell you my experience, and an honest one at that. So the second issue I had with the Mac Studio is I couldn't afford the Ultra, you know, the big one with all the terabytes of space in it and stuff like that. I've just gone for the base model. It's the M2, but it's got the 512 gigabyte drive in it, SSD drive. I think it's got 32 gigabytes of RAM, unified memory, or something like that. But I knew I was going to have a problem with space. But what I was thinking in my head was that I wouldn't have to buy anything different, because I can use my G-RAID drive, which is Thunderbolt. It's got a Thunderbolt connection on it, and it's the only connection it's got, it's Thunderbolt. So I think that's either Thunderbolt 1 or Thunderbolt 2, but of course what I didn't check, what I didn't realise, is that the Mac Studio doesn't have that connection anymore. So even though this is an Apple connected machine with an Apple thing on it, it didn't work. So I couldn't transfer any files or look at anything or do any work or anything. So I was pretty much stuck. So the only way to use my G-RAID drive, which cost me a fortune back then, I think it was about 900 quid or something like that. It's a fantastic bit of kit, but I couldn't plug it straight into the new technology. So I thought, well, I've got to buy an adapter. So I've gone out and bought an adapter, and I looked at the third-party adapters and the reviews were shockingly bad. And I thought, best not, let's get the Apple one. And here it is. I haven't tried it yet, obviously, because I've only just put the screen in. There's the connector, which hopefully will connect my G-RAID to a USB or Thunderbolt, whatever connection that is, Thunderbolt connection. Okay, great, no problem. 48 quid. All right, 48 quid for that, for a cable and a connector. And it's not like I'm trying to connect some mad hardware that's got nothing to do with Apple. That's an Apple product with an Apple cord on it, and I've had to go out and buy another dongle, another connector. They should give you vouchers to get over this stuff, to help you out with this stuff. So yeah, I had to go out and buy that. But I also wanted a fast solid state drive, so an SSD. And I broke my own rule. Usually I stick with Western Digital drives. I've got a ton of them, stack of them back there. They are too slow to edit 4K video, all that kind of stuff, and exporting, whatever. So I always thought I would need an SSD, an external SSD. So I bought a 4 terabyte external solid state drive, which is that. Yes, it's a Crucial drive. So I've gone for Crucial because I was reading reviews, and the Crucial one seems the best fit for this machine. It does come with a small cable, tiny little cable, but you're not going to have it miles away from the computer, are you? So that cable's actually fine, but it's got a Thunderbolt on it. No power, it goes all through the wire. Okay, and right, just got to show you this because this blew my mind. So that G-RAID drive I've got a few of them. I don't know if you can see that. This one is 4 terabytes. It's got 2 discs in it, 7,600 RPM discs. And they're both 2 terabytes each, so there's 4 terabytes in that. It's about 8 years old, something like that, 9 years old, I think. That's got the same capacity as a solid state drive. So that's how far technology's come on in that short time span. All of that now into there. I don't know which is more reliable. I don't know. I mean, that's still going years and years later. I don't know how reliable that's going to be. So yeah, I've bought a 4 terabyte external drive. That's to put the content of my synthesizers on and my audio plugins. All the content's going to go on this, you know, my drum machines, all that kind of stuff. But also I'm going to be dumping current videos that I'm editing. So I'm going to edit videos from this drive. Okay, so the way I work is I'll put the programs on the Studio itself, on the C drive or the internal drive on the Studio. So the applications will go on there, but any content or anything of size will actually always go on another drive, on an external drive. Okay, so I had to buy one of these as well. 200 quid, all right? 200 quid. It don't look too bad, does it? It looks pretty sharp. Colours are fantastic. It's a beautiful monitor, markedly smaller than the 27-inch iMac I had, because it had all that aluminium on the bottom and obviously the big bezel around the top. So it's a bit of an illusion that it looks a lot smaller in that space, but that's because the iMac used to be there. At first glance, on the stand, which doesn't go up and down, it actually looks low. It looks like it's too low. But these guys know what they're doing, don't they? The desk is the perfect height. I built the desk myself. So the monitor, if that's the perfect height, then it should be absolutely bang on. And sitting in front of it, it actually was. Yeah, pretty bang on, to be honest. It tilts really easy. It's got a camera in it. It's got 6 speakers in it, which I haven't tried yet. But all in all, it looks like a great monitor. So getting from there to here has been a bit of a journey, and it's cost me a hell of a lot of money, and I've run out of it. Actually run out of money before I bought this stuff. So downloading the applications that I've owned for many years to the new Mac was actually quite simple. I just added it to my Apple account, went onto the App Store and just downloaded Final Cut Pro. So I've got the latest version of Final Cut Pro. I've been using 10 point something Final Cut Pro X, I think, on my iMac for many years, and only editing 2K footage on that. I've already had a go at editing 4K footage on this Mac Studio, not with that monitor, but on this Mac Studio, and it was no problem at all. No stuttering, no nothing. Very different to editing on my old iMac. And that old iMac used to be fast as hell when I first had it. 10 years ago, it was fast as hell. So I don't know whether it's planned obsolescence or what it is, but it's now incredibly slow. It probably needs a complete format, and then maybe somebody else can get some good use of it. Also, my keyboard, my Native Instruments keyboard here, and all the software that comes with it is newer. So it's only 3 or 4 years old. I plugged that into the iMac, went onto the Native Instruments website, downloaded all the content, everything seamlessly, no problem at all. That's worked absolutely brilliantly, so I can play piano now. Unfortunately, my DigiDesign controller, my factory 003, is not compatible at all with this version, this M2 version, with any silicon version really. It's so far out of date, which is a big shame because I use all the features on it. So I'm going to need to buy a new audio interface, and I already know the interface I want. I want the Apollo. I can't remember what it's called now. It's a Universal Audio Apollo interface anyway, but it's another £1,000, which I can't afford at the minute, so I'm going to have to wait. So for now, I've got a stereo cable coming out the back of the Mac Studio, out of the headphone socket, and I'm going into a line in on my 003, which gives me sound. It's not ideal, but it still sounds pretty good, and it'll do for now. And failing that, I can always use my Sennheiser headphones, can't I? So the issues I've got at the moment are, obviously my audio interface is out of date. I've got to buy a new one, but also Pro Tools. So the last version of Pro Tools I bought was 12. That doesn't work at all on these machines, and I've got to buy the latest version, and I think it's £300 a year or something like that. So when you start stacking all this money up, it's a bloody expensive hobby. But hopefully once I've got everything, it's going to take me a couple of months to buy Pro Tools and try and figure out what to do with an audio interface. But hopefully once I've got all that, I'll have a setup which will last me for many years to come, like its predecessor. So that's it really. All in all, it's been a bit of a ride to get here. Be prepared to do things that you didn't expect, like things, with the cables and your old technology, trying to integrate them. I want my G-RAID drive, by the way, to be my backup drive. So I've had to buy this connector, obviously, to connect that into it. So that's going to be my Time Machine hard disk from now on. And if I start running out of space on the crucial 4 TB SSD, then I can always buy another one, and then another one, and then another one. But usually my backups go on very slow Western Digital 5400 RPM drives, I think they are. I'll show you one actually. So when I want to back up video content or vlogs or whatever I've done in the past, I don't want to lose anything. What I do is I archive them off on these Western Digital drives. I've got 3 of these at the moment. These are 6 TB each. They're very slow, so you couldn't really do any editing off them, but to back up your stuff to them, they're absolutely fantastic. And touch wood, I haven't had one fail on me yet, a Western Digital drive. They've always been good. These are a fair few years old now, and if I ever want to go back and get some footage from an old video that I've done, I just plug one of these in and away I go. Okay, so to keep my old drives running on this machine, there's 2 USB sockets on the back of the Mac Studio, and I've just got a little converter. So I've got it's very old, but it works absolutely fine, and I'm all about, if something works, you don't, try not to replace it. So this is a 246, that's a 7-port USB hub with one coming out the back, which will go into one of those USB sockets on the Mac Studio. Okay, so I'm going to tidy up all these boxes. I'm going to put my i7 iMac on here behind the camera, because obviously I need to clear that off and get all my old files off it, and then completely wipe it, ready for somebody else to take off me if they want it. Also, obviously the factory 003 is going to have to go at some point, so if anybody wants that, let me know in the comments. Similarly with the i7 iMac, if you want that. I can't promise what it's going to be like, because obviously it's over 10 years old, but it's done me till now, and I think it just needs a good old wipe, and maybe putting back to its original operating system to get it back nice and fast and snappy. Okay, so that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you've got any comments, please drop them in the comment section below, and I'll answer as many as I can. But for now, my experience of this thing, now it's actually switched on and I've started editing, is pretty good. It just seems nice and fast. I haven't had any stutters, any struggles or anything like that, any audio dropouts, nothing like that at the moment. But I'll give you a proper thorough review of the whole system once I get it up and running and I've been using it for 2 or 3 months. Okay, so that was a real world video, none of this Apple fanboy stuff, because I am not an Apple fanboy. I actually hate the fact that I have to be in the Apple ecosystem, for compatibility with other studios and stuff like that. But the alternative, I can tell you from experience, is far worse. It always has been. Windows used to drive me insane. Trying to do this stuff on a Windows machine was never a good experience for me. So yeah, I am stuck in the Apple ecosystem here with this stuff, but I'm not an Apple fanboy, so if I say things as I see it. So if I see a problem with something, you can be absolutely sure that I will tell you guys, and give you my full experience, honest experience, should I say. So give me a couple of months with this and I'll do you a full-on review. You might see some videos coming out in 4K, which is great because I can finally edit 4K footage. And I will see you in the next video. If you can subscribe to me, that would be brilliant as well, because I'm going to be doing loads more footage with this stuff. And if you want to go and check out my other channels, I've got Motovlog UK, which is where all my motorbike adventures go. That's a nice channel. I love doing editing for that channel. I do all my own music and video and stuff. I've also got Produce at Home, which is an audio YouTube channel, so check out Produce at Home as well. So I've got Motovlog UK, Produce at Home, and obviously I am the Thorpster. So I've been Dave. Thanks very much for watching this, and I will see you in the next vid. All right, bye bye.